Hello, Deborah with Preservation Publications and Preservation 2012 on YouTube. I'd like to start this video by reading a paragraph from the Declaration of Independence. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. This is probably one of the most important paragraphs that has ever been written by any of our founding fathers. And it gives us, the people, permission to abolish forms of oppression, not just government oppression, but forms of oppression. When you live with the rule of law, you're living with layers of oppression. If, for example, you live in a community, a planned community with homeowners associations and so forth, you're obligated to live under the rules associated with that organization. So because of that, you're going to be looking at parking restrictions, pets and animal restrictions, and restrictions on what you can grow in and around your home. Now, on top of that very local layer, you're looking at a second local layer that incorporates just a little larger area. On top of city law, you're looking at county law, which primarily has to do with county law enforcement and the use and development of lands. Then on top of those layers, you're looking at state laws, interstate laws, federal laws, international laws, and we're looking at global laws on top of all of that. So the oppression is coming from the top to the bottom, and we're all suffering from this. Now when you add on corporate law, now you're talking about the inability to even breathe. Top that off with forcing people to quit smoking and forcing them to eat a healthy diet, and you've got a new level of ownership there. And that's just for the people that work for these corporations. Other corporations that have to do with the public are forcing mandatory proof of innocence and illegal detention. Let me give you a couple of examples. If you were to go shopping at Walmart and walk through their sensors and an alarm goes off, an employee will be there immediately asking you for your receipt and proof that you haven't stolen anything. Now this has happened to me on a couple of occasions and I've never stopped. I refuse to stop because I refuse to prove innocence. I am not a thief. If they want to call the police, if they want to bring charges, then let them do it. They can't hold me and I won't allow them to. By the same token, at Sam's Club, before you're allowed out the door, you've got to show your receipt so they can compare it to what you've got in your cart. I refuse to stop there as well. In fact, the last time I was chased outside the door by a man that was trying to stop me to make me prove innocence, and I told him no. I will not. And I suggest you all do the same. These are layers of oppression that go on from the top to the very bottom. And we do not have to subject ourselves to them. We can say no. Now, I don't propose that anybody sign a petition and start a revolution. I think it's completely and wholly unnecessary. I think that this system is so corrupt and so out of tune with what's going on in the country, it's going to fall in on itself. When our government deals in trillions of dollars, and you and I still deal with pennies in our wallet, there's a huge gap in understanding, a huge, vast gap in understanding between those that claim to lead us and those that live under their rule. So I don't propose revolution. It'll happen all by itself. It will fall in unto itself because it's not sustainable. Now, because oppression comes from the top down, when the collapse occurs, the regrowth and the rebirth will come from the bottom up. And what we need to begin to understand and talk about is how we're going to make that happen. Grassroots organizations that are developing local currencies and developing bartering systems are already springing up all over the country. That is where we need to focus our attention, and that is where we need to focus our energy, because that's where we're all going to grow from. If you can figure out a way to contribute to the local economy, which is what we're all going to have to learn how to do eventually, then you should be preparing for that now. And in past videos, this is what I'm talking about and referring to when I talk about pockets of survival in the United States. What this means is that you've got your backyard garden going, that your neighbor has his garden going, that across the street they're raising chickens, and that both of you will be willing to contribute to food to that flock in exchange for eggs and broilers. This is grassroots up. The federal government is so far removed from this kind of thinking that it makes no difference what they say or don't say about it. This is survival for all of us. Think about it. Until next time, for our families, our neighbors, our friends, and our communities, preservation.